I'm terrified of LX's dunks that he has available on Mako, but Lopes's Bryn has looked absolutely dominant in the sets since they last met.
Now, it is worth pointing out that Lopes played Jiro for their previous match against each other. So any information that LX had on the way Lopes was playing, basically thrown out the window, because this is a whole different character.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wildly no shared weapons, no shared like stat focus. It's really just entirely changed up. But LX still has the damage lead to start.
Yeah, it will still share those dodge habits, which is one thing that LX was able to catch there, was that dodge out, which led to a decent chunk of damage onto Lopes.
Yeah, you can change the character, but the player behind might still have a couple residual habits left over. Ooh. Oh! LX, once again, that side light opener into the down signature, so incredibly quick. I mean, if you see that they have already spent their dodge, you can definitely go right into that.
And that's one thing that's really tricky about greatswords is, like, as a person playing against it, you're always thinking about, okay, they're going to look for their bridge opportunity. They're going to look for what their follow-up is. Nice side sig to keep this one close. But the greatsword players are constantly baiting out these light attacks so that when they decide to dive in with a heavy attack, which is going to take a little bit more on startup, you're still thinking about light attacks and get caught.
So right now, LX is thinking about how to get those light attacks. Finally manages to grab the weapon, but Lopes managed to tie up the damage and take a little bit of a lead. Oh my gosh. The footsies, both of them just hanging right near each other, kind of who's going to blink first.
Right there, LX closed his eyes, and Lopes caught with the neutral signature. Got some really good damage onto LX. LX is currently disarmed, waiting for the spawn. It's going to be the guitars, but the neutral sig will put it onto the final stock of LX.
Yeah, it doesn't reach as high as a bunch of other neutral signatures, but it just covers the area that you want, which makes it a consistent anti-air that we see a lot of players really enjoy.
Yeah, it's really good for covering close. It's basically like you can go for the light attack, which might, the down light, which might be a little bit faster, or you can go for the end sig, which might knock out.
Oh yeah. So now LX is looking to knock out. Tried to go for the dodge read, was expecting the dodge through, but Lopes doing a great job of changing that up. Hasn't given up the stock yet.
Some risky offstage coming out from Lopes. The weapon toss from LX gets him back up onto the stage, but Lopes still playing this unarmed. This whole entire sequence has been LX unarmed, or Lopes unarmed, but he eats the down sig.
Yeah, a little too overzealous there, but hey man, the damage has been done. Just off of the unarmed kit alone, he's been pushing him into the orange, almost the red.
Yeah, and it might be an unarmed move to finish this one off. No, backs up, picks up the spear. LX close to that kill percent, but getting some good damage built up. Downsig will launch.
And the falling side air, LX, pretty far out.
Goes below for the recovery. LX is holding on by the teeth of a shark. And the Nair is just going to get a little bit more damage on the Lopes. Side sig whiffs.
Oh my god, he keeps looking for this dodge through. Lopes doesn't give it. He gives him a side air instead for the game 1 win.
But it was looking a little bit rough there towards the tail end. LX really extended that final stock. Lopes does finish out game number 1 though.
Whew. Yeah, all right. Yeah, look at this final clip. LX always looking for that dodge through because that gives him the most stage, the most runway to get a proper punish with that greatsword to maximize the damage output. But Lopes has been kind of dodging towards the outside more often, which, I mean, has got him the win there, got him enough punishes to build the damage towards the win, and now we're going to see if that continues through game 2.
LX is going to make the switch. This was the Jaehyun. This is the one that closed it out in their actual previous matchup. It was the Jaehyun. He's swapping to it a little bit earlier. We saw him go Mako into Cassidy into Jaehyun. But now he's speed running a little bit and just doing the Cassidy skip to Jaehyun.
You know, you got to increase those reps. You got to speed them up.
Yeah, exactly. Got to get a new PB on that one. That's a gold split. As we get into game number 2, Lopes versus LX. Lopes, of course, going to be sticking on the Barbara Bryn, while LX is on the Jaehyun.
Lopes grabbing the first weapon. LX grabbing the first damage.
Greatsword picked up by LX. Will have a different signature kit. I've seen a lot of JNs do side sig this past weekend, and they have not quite been landing.
Yeah, it's one of those trickier ones. You know, it does have a bit of the dead zone in there. The landing area is a giant strike zone. Incredible force, incredible power behind it. But it does have some of the largest startup time in the game just because of how long it takes to get that leap going.
But Lopes getting some damage going as he gets the double down air. Alex actually with the current damage advantage. There you're seeing the dare nair. A little bit early, didn't quite lead to the knockout, but a sword recovery. And a Sayer, Lopes running out of jumps.
Goes high over LX, choosing to guard the weapon. But the recovery attempt that surely would have been a knockout. Lopes ducks under, arms up with the spear.
Lopes is really trying to hit the very farthest reaches of that spear side zig, and Alex doing a really good job jumping, getting away from that one. Still wants the sword for the true knockout potential. Downlight into recovery.
Cutting him up, but not enough to take the stock. Man, Alex has done a phenomenal job just dodging each of these weapon tosses. Lopes has been unarmed so often in the match.
But Lopes is showing he's kind of comfortable with it, but not comfortable with the stock advantage as LX does land the recovery finally to take that first stock off of Lopes.
So looking to catch the landings and catches the dodge and catches the next weapon and catches, oh my gosh, he's just all hands.
Yeah, looking like an octopus with how many things he was able to catch on that one. Lopes still unarmed, trying to play further back. LX is just saying, I have this weapon advantage, I'll just throw him at you and keep this advantage.
Yeah, Mammoth Fortress is his home, and Jae-Yun just lives there rent-free.
He's set up shop, has all the weapons that he needs, has the neutral sig as well. Lopes is in trouble in game number 2.
Yeah, that was absolutely disgusting. Weapon Starve continuing, still opting for the small sword for the downlight recovery and a 2-stock lead.
Again, the juggles, the weapon denials. Lopes wants to deny the 3-stock at the very least. Might throw out a signature, just try to pray for something heavy hitting. Here's the neutral sig attempt. Ooh, misses another one.
That was gutsy. You see LX doing a lot of these spot dodges because they do have longer invulnerability time than directional dodging. So if you're trying to actually just invuln yourself through an attack, which would have been pretty useful right there, the spot dodge is more reliable for that, unless you can actually get yourself out of the way.
It's also really good against Axe in particular to get on like the tail end of the move, catch them in those recovery frames. You'll see it happen a lot when Axes like to go for those light attack openers. But LX now currently sitting on the 2nd stock as Lopes did land the recovery.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, you were absolutely right. Tagged him right at the tail end of that side light after spot dodging it. LX with a massive lead. Downlight side air even gave a little bit of an early celebration, but too early.
You see Lopes try to take advantage of the weapons. Throws out the side stick again. LX jumping over it, just completely ready for this option from Lopes.
Oh man, he is just fishing for dodges now. You see it's always opener into movement reset for the greatsword.
The unarmed neutralite almost doing enough. That is a lot of damage built up onto Lopes.
Yeah, going into that like almost barbecue sauce color, matching the red of Barbara's hair here. That is deep.
But Lopes does do a good job spot dodging the down air approach from LX. Can't afford too much more in this one.
Man, Lopes is fighting his heart out. Couldn't manage to take down the 2nd stock. So now LX going on the board, tying up the set 1-1.
Yo, but that's 700 damage taken from Lopes. Usually it's like, wow, that's cool, big number, better player. But 700 damage is a pretty inefficient stock. That's like 233 each stock. That's not the best. Usually your 150 is like optimum efficiency.
Yeah, that's really what you're looking for, to be like, all right, am I on pace for scoring the knockouts as early as I can and cutting my opponent's time short to make sure that they can't mount a comeback.
But
oh, Lopes over onto the Petra now.
I saw it as well. The Petra, going to be an interesting pick. I know we had Flambeau on earlier, and Flambeau, of course, a big fan of the Jaehyun, knows what weapons work generally really well. One of the most common options is to go in for the bow. Orb, actually not the worst in the matchup against the Greatsword, specifically because of the Orb down air. But usually when I see a Petra, they're more into the gauntlets than they are into the Orb. So we'll see how Lopes plays this one out. Because if he does lean into the Orb, there's that possibility. But I'm expecting a lot of gauntlet play.
Well, with that gauntlet play, there's a ton of platforms for those uppercuts to hit. You know, Petra has some pretty high-reaching neutral signatures, so you're not safe standing up there. And Lopes showing it off by just grabbing him out of the sky with that gauntlet neutral air, immediately over into the Orb, juggling him up again and again.
Yeah, doing a really good job denying weapons for the first 20 seconds of this one. Lopes was able to cycle from Orb back to Orb. That was 3 weapon pickups, but Alex does finally pick up a sword, so it's going to be a more standard opener to this one.
Big damage lead for Lopes now, hunting for the knockout, the neutral 8, the weapon toss, almost scoring it, but now it's over onto the gauntlets for the corner guard.
You're seeing Lopes not go for the ground pound. Instead, it's the recovery for the first stock here in game number 2. Going to juggle for a moment, but stick to the Orb, because Alex's next weapon will be that Greatsword.
Ooh, went for the dodge read, expecting him to go down and out, but LX mixing it up. Oh, goes for the full charge Spirit Bomb, gets punished in the back.
Yeah, I don't know what he was looking for with that one, especially when LX was behind him, just watching him charge that one up. Looking like Frieza, just staring like, okay, you're getting everybody to put their hands up, I guess.
Listen, I know some of his past opponents dashed right back into haymakers that he was charging, but Lopes is not going to get away with that here.
And not at this level here in the top 4 of things. LX with a nice side air will even up the stock count. Keeping this one close. Lopes does still have the health advantage. No weapon spawn. It's on the right side. Alex can't cover.
So gauntlets, you see them just bunny hopping around, looking for whatever connection they can get. It's a 3-piece for Lopes to seal the deal, and a massive lead now.
I don't know where LX burned his dodge within that string, but that is not a true combo, and no. Lopes really just pulled the trigger on that one, and Alex not able to get out.
I do wonder if that's a little bit of an extension. You see there, LX, you know, just kind of going along with the flow. We did see that in their neutral movement for a while, where they were just kind of bunny hopping around each other, waiting for the other one to dodge. Both very keen on turning dodge punishes into maximum effort, but I mean, you've got to spend that dodge at some point. You can't be scared to do it all the time.
Yeah, it's like a Marvel player saving the ultimate, except never using it. And now LX is down to the final stock. But goes for the read, gets dodged down, and Lopes gonna clean up game number 3 with a 2-stock lead.
Dang, that was a fast match. That was a really fast match.
Yeah, no breaks. Like I said, South America just putting gas on fires, and Lopes and LX now going into game number 4. LX with the swap.
Ooh. Over to the Koji. Interesting. Keeping that sword. The great sword's out of here. The bow is in.
Yeah, friendship with greatsword ended. Friendship, new best friend, bow, as we're getting into the next one. I like that at least there's been kind of this connect the dots with LX's Legends. It's like, I had a Mako, and Mako has greatsword, and so I switched to Jaehyun. Jaehyun had greatsword as well, but Jaehyun also has sword. Now Koji has sword.
The 6 degrees of Koji bacon, or whatever you want to make it.
Sure. Lopes, though, able to pick up some gauntlets here in game number 4.
Ooh. All right, so we see LX, you know, kind of adopting a little bit of like the greatsword style there, where you would often approach with the downlight on Greatsword just because of how much distance it covers. He's trying to set up the same thing with that bow downlight. You see him hanging out around the corners, waiting for Lopes to land in the center, but he hasn't been able to turn that into any significant strings right now, and that's given Lopes the lead.
It's not the biggest lead, though. Lopes is doing a really good job of staying just high enough to catch with these falling side airs, denies the weapon, throws out a big side sig attempt, but LX with a falling there will throw it away. Has a sword in hand now. First stock could go either direction.
Yeah, both of them primed for knockout. It's just who's going to be find it. Gravity cancel downlight into recovery. Lopes, 3-2.
A nice knockout for Lopes over to the orb. Hasn't gotten any extra credit just yet. That's the first little bit of damage, but the tatami mat evens it up.
Cut short. Momentary weapon juggle. You see LX just kind of showing off the platform movement a little bit, maybe to warm up, so that way he can start dodging around these gauntlets a little bit better than last stock.
Being able to do those chase, or not those chase dodges, but those just raw dodges off of those platforms, very useful for that movement. Sideline, trying to read some movement from LX.
Again, LX just staying very mobile. He wants to keep that range advantage, you know, even more so than he had with the reach of the Greatsword. All these projectiles, these arrow shots that the bow is tossing out, he definitely has the range advantage over both of Lopes' weapons.
Yeah, and Lopes kind of knows that LX is definitely playing a strong ground game, and you're seeing him really go for like a lot of jumps before landing back down onto the stage. Gets the side light side.
Oh! Man, he didn't get as much vertical movement out of that jump as he wanted to. He had to burn the dodge early because of the weapon throw coming out, but he did spend it straight horizontal, and that didn't give him the angle to make it back to stage.
And now it's on Lopes, going for the edge guard, hits a ground pound, second ground pound.
Double dunk,
weapon toss,
triple!
all the stars. Lopes gonna close it out 3-1 over LX. No double taps here. And Lopes will continue on. So your top 3 picks are all in the top 3.
You know, feels good, man, but I didn't get here alone. I'd like to thank Dobrain for also being correct.
Yo, it's not fair that y'all like get together and you're like, hey, let's come up with the best possible picks. I have to sit here in my room by myself. Going with my gut. All right, well, anyways.
It's all right. You know what? Maybe you can ask Sparky what his picks were for this. You know, we'll talk about that later. But you see Wes sitting up there in grand finals. Losers finals is now going to be Fiend versus Lopes. Oh, man, what a wild top 3. Powerhouse players.
Some might say even predictable. Not me, though.